Hey guys, Joseph here. So I'm super psyched. So many of you have commented about wanting to get strategies on succeeding from home. So I'm excited because I'm going to share with you a few things that I've taught over the years as part of a longer, greater presentation. So I may do a screen share very soon. And, of course, we're Facebook friends. You know me, you know who I am and what I'm about. So a little bit about my journey is that so my clients call me the breakthrough engineer. And I am an engineer. I used to work in the corporate world. I worked for major organizations for 5+ years. And in 2001, I made a huge shift and I got out of the corporate world and I needed to figure out how to be an entrepreneur, how to work from home successfully. And it was a long, arduous process to figure this all out. And what really pushed me to learn how to do this was eventually in 2004, my dad passed away. When he passed away, I moved to Queens to be around my mom. We had a condo in Bayside where I just chose to live it, and I chose to give away everything I owned to be able to live there, kind of start from scratch. And it really pushed me to like level up. So if you know me, you know that I'm a big believer in accountability, and I reframe accountability as momentum. So I'm going to share with you different strategies that you can take on for yourself to maximize your day, especially now that we're all working from home. And so there are some key things you can do that'll allow you to be effective. And I'll talk about priming, I'll talk about journaling, really, but the bigger key here is that structure creates freedom. And when I learned that distinction, when I learned that years ago, it was a game changer. And it's about embracing structure. So Stephen Pressfield has a book called The War of Art. He talks about this thing called resistance. And when you're working from home, when you don't have the environment around you at work, maybe you're in a cubicle or working with other people, it's important that you kind of break through that resistance yourself, those blocks yourself. And it just takes having the right rituals and routines. And the word ritual, I like rituals, the word ritual, Tony Robbins uses it a bit, so do a few other authors. And when you make something a habit, a ritual, it becomes like a solid thing. It becomes something you honor each day, right? Like, and rituals often are used in like spiritual circles of sorts. I want to invite you to see that when you establish certain things each day that you do every day, no matter what, it becomes a ritual and you realize the importance of it. So I'll talk about a few things here, but I want to invite you, first of all, that structure creates freedom. So really embrace structure, create more structure around you. It's a good thing. It's a great thing, especially when you start getting results, making progress in your life. And you might have heard the notion of progress equals happiness, something that's taught in a few communities. I want to invite you to see that 1% progress every day adds up quite a bit very quickly. 1% progress every day over the course of a year, it can be 5,000% progress, right? It's pretty amazing. I think actually like 3,700% progress. It's not quite 5,000, but it's more than 10x, it's more than 20x. And that's if you kind of do this wisely. So, a lot of you know me that in 2005, when I moved to Queens, I had to kind of create more structure around myself. So I was blessed because we formed this accountability group. And over the years, Michael Gerber, I met with him in 2007, a couple of years later. He coached me on how to take this further and build a whole brand around it. And so I sat down, I mapped out everything we're doing. I started kind of systemizing the whole process. An acronym for systems that I talk about is save yourself time, energy, money, and sanity. It's a great acronym. So I started creating systems around everything I was doing in a way to scale up everything, this whole idea of accountability we call momentum. So we'll talk about that very soon too also. I'll make this very short. This will be one of a few different presentations that I'll be giving, I'll be streaming, and I'm testing this out here to see if this value connects with many of you, but especially many of you who are not entrepreneurs. This is new to you and you're realizing that you've got to like step up your game and kind of embrace that entrepreneur mentality or that solopreneur mentality, because you're now working from home. So you might still work for an employer, but now you've got to like step things up and build the structures that it takes. So years ago, when I was in the corporate world, I was fortunate because I worked for Jack Welch, and he was the head of GE. So I was exposed to Six Sigma. And one of the things about Jack that I appreciated is that he really inspired everyone who worked from him in the organization, from top level down to the consultants. I was a consultant for the organization, to really think as an entrepreneur. So when I got in, they gave me kind of my own space, my own uh, 400 square foot office. And I had total charge in ordering the servers, learning the tech, building the tech out. And I had to kind of think as an entrepreneur would in that situation. And I'm grateful because, over the years when I stepped away, I had to learn how to do that myself, working from a home office now without having those structures, the accountability, the coworkers, all of that around me. So here we go. Here we go. And let's do a quick slide share. Give me one moment. And okay. Promises will be short and you'll get a ton of value out of this. Structure creates freedom. And how structure creates freedom. That's the topic of this. So I want to invite you all to play full out. So what that means is over the course of this month, April coming up, the next month, you may very well be at home. There's an opportunity to veg out, to watch Netflix, to kind of chill out, right? Or there's an opportunity to really create impact in the world, really maximize in each moment, to really be your best self continually, so that you and the organization that you work for are getting results. You want to make sure that you're indispensable for the organization you work for, or if you're an entrepreneur, you want to ensure that you're leveling up every day. And I mentioned before that the compound effect really will work in your interest if you're willing to make 1% progress every day, and you get committed to that. It's also called the Kaizen Principle. What I'm saying. A little bit about myself. Maybe you know me. I'm a leadership consultant. I am an engineer. I'm passionate about being an engineer. It's about kind of fixing things, improving things, optimizing things. And when I became an entrepreneur, I've had to learn how to do this for myself and help others too. So we formed Success Circles back in 2005. It's a peer coaching community for entrepreneurs mainly. We do have about maybe 10 people involved who work full time, but who have an entrepreneur mindset. So we've learned a lot about the daily huddle, about tracking results, about Pearson's law, that which is tracked regularly improves considerably and exponentially. I'm also co-leader of New York Power Team with Frank Clark. We're the largest peak performance community in New York City meetup. And I consulted greatness. A little bit about myself. This picture here is a bit older, so I'm going to be honest about that. It's my assistant put this together, that picture. So my intention is to add tremendous value here to you for the next few minutes. So you might think you already know all of this. I want to invite you to be coachable, being open-minded, because the same old thinking will create the same old results. So be open-minded about what you're going to learn. Okay, so when I moved to Queens, I felt like 1 years ago, my dad passed away when I moved into a bare apartment. This is how I felt: isolated, disconnected. I'm sure many of you feel this way too also. And I want to invite you to see that there's an opportunity here currently in the current landscape to really level up in a lot of ways and realize that you are connected, you are loved, especially if you're willing to reach out. So success is not a flat line, which people think it looks like. It's actually like a squeaky line. It's think about a GPS system. You're going from part A to point B. And you're following a map, and that map may not be as accurate, or you're following a GPS system in your car, but it's never a straight line. It takes thousands of recalibrations to get to where you want to be in life. And if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, or if you're looking to succeed at home, know that it's going to take quite a bit of learning to get there. So I'm going to share with you a few strategies coming soon. So you've had a long day at this point, so let go, kind of really be with this. And a key thing for all of this is the importance of focusing, maximizing your ability to focus. The most important asset you have is your mind, in terms of your ability to create presence for yourself, your team, for yourself to to really focus and get results. So focus is a key thing here, because every day, especially with the advent of technology and about 1 million people right now doing Zoom sessions, there are a lot of things competing for your attention at this point. So it's important that you develop your ability to focus. My daughter goes to a Montessori program, and the key thing in that program is they teach kids, especially these early years of life, from pre-K until 3rd grade, how to focus and how to kind of stick with one task until they're complete. And I think we chose the Montessori program because we just felt that this is a skill set that once she develops this, she'll be grounded in it, and it'll help her in everything else she does. And that's certainly the case. Okay, so in Success Circles, our peer coaching community, it's all based on this thing called a dialogue. So I invite you that if you're struggling with anything in life, get in dialogue. Find a mastermind, find a peer group, find a buddy, find a family member, someone on the same playing field as you, who can support you, who can listen for you, who sees you as your best self. And if you want a huddle partner, check out what we do at Success Circles. And I think it's the last thing I'll say is with regard to what I do, right? So go to successcircles.com, learn more about that. And this is really about maximizing time. We're given a set number of seconds per day, minutes per day, and it is possible to really show up in such a way where you're able to kind of freeze time or bend time. And I'm passionate about this concept because I believe many of us who play this game are able to achieve a lot more. So I want to invite you, like, as you're home, you could either kind of be a victim to these circumstances or really take responsibility and really own every moment of your day so that it serves you and serves the people you love too as well. So keys to waking up inspired. I mentioned before, we deal with resistance. Stephen Pressfield talks about this. I think Julia Cameron talks about this too in her books on creativity. And it takes something to break against that resistance. Perhaps journaling is a good choice for you. Years ago, even before what happened to me with my dad happened, he passed away in 2004, I started journaling. I was going through a rough spot where I was a bit depressed. And if you know me in that period of time, 2001, post 9/11, I was going through a lot emotionally. I started journaling. But specifically, I started journaling each day, my wins, where I was raising my standards, magic moments, gratefulness. And as I started doing this, I started retraining my reticular system. So there's part of the brain that wants you to focus. And essentially, you can train it to focus on certain things. You can train it to see opportunities amidst challenges. And most great entrepreneurs, investors now, Warren Buffett, for example, they see this time period as a huge opportunity. When the market goes down, they're out there strategizing, getting in to invest. And most of the wealthiest people on the world get wealthy during this period. So I want to invite you to get and have a resourceful mindset. The first step is to start journaling. And I invite you to journal at the start of your day, journal at the end of your day, especially, because as you do that, you're training your mind before you go to bed to really focus on opportunities and being resourceful. And to go to bed with a resourceful mindset is a huge advantage because your dreams now work for you as well also. Key things: map out your day, score a huge win early in your day. If you can score a huge win between, let's say, 8 and 12, or between 5 and 8, some of us in the 5 o'clock club, there's a huge opportunity to, it's a major opportunity there, because it allows you, like, once you get to noon, providing that in the first quarter of your day. So I'm a big believer in games. So I break my day out into four quarters, right? Think of your favorite game, your sports game, for example. There may be sections as 5 quarters for that game. So life works the same way also. Each day you're given a game. So break your day out into quarters. So for my first quarter of my day between 8 and 12, if I'm kicking butt, if I'm showing up, if I've had a huge win, if I've done the most courageous thing in that time period, it really sets me up for a lot of success going forward into the rest of the day. So the first 3-4 hours of a day matter a lot. I mentioned before, getting a momentum buddy, getting feedback, getting in dialogue, scoring and sharing your wins, small wins, big wins, journal those things. It's really, really important. Set boundaries. I invite you to create a document called Your Rules of Engagement. Basically set how people should treat you, right? It's not easy, especially, let's say you're working and you're on Slack and you've got this channel and people expect to be engaged and and following following a list of activity lists and so forth. It's important to set boundaries because one thing I've learned is that when you're focused on a task, when you're in flow, if a distraction comes up, if a notification comes up on your device, it'll take you out. Sometimes it takes about 15, 20 minutes to get back to the state of flow that you were in before. So be mindful of notifications. You can put your devices in flight mode. If you choose to, it's often one button on your phone to be able to do that. Learn how to do that. I really appreciate being able to do that too as well. One more thing too, I mentioned before, opportunities, challenges. When you start seeing breakthroughs around breakdowns, when you start training yourself to see that, see opportunities, things will start shifting. Every time something bad happens to you, immediately within moments, you start strategizing a solution around, well, what's the goodness around this situation? It takes a bit of training your mind to be able to do that. But eventually, when something bad happens, or you stumble, let's say, you'll get back up, right? And it's our ability to get back up that really determines how much of a leader we are, right? And if you're able to get back up quickly each time, people in life will respect you as a leader, including your family and your children and others you work around. So see opportunities around challenges, train yourself. So my favorite quotes: environment is stronger than willpower. We'll end on this quote too very soon. And this is by Yogananda. Bucky Fuller, the inventor, talks about this idea too as well. And there's a lot of truth into this. So in your workspace, start optimizing your workspace such that when you walk into your workspace, you're inspired. It might even take, for example, dressing up. So back in the days when I learned how to be an entrepreneur, I had to kind of dress up, wear my same work clothes. It also involved me getting up the same time I worked at when I was in my corporate days, way back in the days. So I had to get up the same time. And I trained myself to do that. Now I work in my pajamas, right? But it took about a decade of being able to do that for me to get those results. So start mapping out your day, start mapping out your environment, designing your environment in such a way where you walk into your office, you're inspired to take action, to really show up powerfully. It's about enhancing focus, minimizing distractions. I covered some of those things. Setting anchors around you, which when you walk into your office, maybe having a visual. So my other end of my office, I've got a picture of a mountain. So it's kind of a mental anchor to me as far as, for me, it's about leveling up each time, about doing whatever it takes when I see that. So whatever it is for you, it could be having greenery in your office, maybe a plant, but having inspiring visuals around you is really key. I'll leave with the last couple of things. One way of getting resourceful is gratitude. So it's difficult to have both fear and gratitude in the same equation. So when you're grateful, you're present, right? It's about really being in the moment, really being appreciative of the things you have in your life, the gifts that your creator, our creator, has given to us. So gratitude is an easy thing to tap into. Start practicing gratitude. Start journaling at nighttime before you go to bed. What are you grateful for? Start your day that way also, with gratitude. And I promise you, it'll make a huge difference for yourself in terms of getting more resourceful. I mentioned that quote before by Yogananda: the truth is environment is stronger than willpower. Own that. And I have that everywhere in my household, even with our kids too as well. We're always optimizing our space. It's also your internal environment too as well. So what you put into your body. And I invite you to drink fluids, be hydrated during this time. It makes a huge difference. The more energized you are, the more clear you are, the more effective you can be. I'm a big fan of the book, The Power of Full Engagement by Jim Lohr and Tony Schwartz. And they make a distinction, and it's less about managing time, it's about managing energy. And one key part of managing energy is your health. So I invite you during this time period to level up your health in every way possible. And that's pretty much it. So let me exit out of this screen share. And 1 second. Okay. And we're back on board here again. So I'm gonna go deeper into some of these topics over the next few days. Hope you got some great value, some nuggets out of this. If there's something you're walking away with, please comment. What's the takeaway you've gotten out of this? If something you want me to expand on within the topics I talked about, please let me know too as well. I'm here to serve. Like I said, we've served probably 500 entrepreneurs over the course of the past 15 years within Success Circles, our peer coaching community, and it's all about having structures. It's about having fun too as well. Everything you do, it's got to be fun. So I mean, part of my life is listen to comedy every once in a while. It's being with my kids, connecting with my kids, putting away the tech at the end of the day as well. So make it fun too. Because if you're so serious about life, about everything, it'll only detract from really making progress. I want to invite you to finally limit news consumption. Maybe keep it to about 10 minutes per day. I mean, the numbers are gonna keep shifting and growing, but if you're caught up in that each day, it'll bring you down. So minimize the amount of news you're watching. Really focus on creating more impact. Watch comedy, perhaps, if it helps you with your state. Of course, take care of your health. Do what it takes when you go out, maintaining distance with others. Boost your immune system. Some very simple things you can do. I'm always boosting my immune system, and even with that, of course, we got to exercise caution. But yet, at the same time, if you have a strong immune system, if you do get COVID-19, hopefully, my prayer is that you'll be able to release it and move forward. So that's about it. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll connect with you guys soon.